Hello, I'm Brandon Doyle, and this is my sixth assignment for Introduction into Firearms, and I will be field stripping my Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus. This is a manually operated double-action, single-action revolver, and as you can see, empty. Alright, first thing we take apart is the grip. The grip is the first thing that you gotta take apart, otherwise you can't take this thing apart. Now we can take apart the faceplate. Alright, now that we got these three bolts out of the revolver over here, we can now take it out. Pop this little faceplate. Bam. Oh, looks like the hammer guard came with it. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew this little bolt over here to allow us to get to this thin spring. Now that that bolt is out, we can pop out that spring. There we go. Alright, now that that tension spring is out, let's remove this little thing that it was attached to so it's not to go flying. This little piece is what attaches the tension spring to the hammer. We'll be keeping this over here, the cylinder in. This will allow us to pull back the hammer, release, and that will allow you to take the hammer right out like that. Alright, now that the hammer is out, we will be taking the trigger out. To take the trigger out, we gotta take this spring block right over here out. Now we gotta be careful because I do not want to lose that spring. Alright. Got it right here. It's got a little pieces in there. This little pin keeps it from warping while in this little block. Alright, now that that block is out, we can remove the trigger. Simple as that. Nice and neat. Alright, now that we got all that out of the way, we can remove the cylinder. Since those bolts over here are taken out, we can just slide that right off. Now that we got most of this taken apart, we can start with the ejector handle. Start that. Quick little unscrewing. Like that. Alright, now that we got that little ejector handle out, we can now take out the ejector over here. Be careful, there's a little tiny spring that will go flying. Now that that's taken care of, we can get the cylinder stop that's right over here. Easier to see right over there. Alright, now that we got that cylinder stop out, see it's like a little bird beak. Alright, now we will go for the firing pin. There we go, got the little pin that keeps the firing pin in. There we go. The firing pin. Alright, now that is cleanly field stripped. Now we can clean it and then put it back together. Alright, now that we're done, what I found intimidating or irritating was definitely that little spring block that was attached to the trigger. That is a pain in the butt to put back, but doable as long as you make sure it doesn't fly off. As for any problems I might have with customers' firearms, well, it all depends on if I've worked on them before or it's a different firearm entirely. That will make the biggest difference. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day.